pure,
Mm-hmm.
which is a key thing.
Another ism there, Puritanism, we might have to get into as another version of extremism.
Yeah, purity is definitely shows up in a lot of these. And that's the thing. None of us are pure. None of us are sacred. We can strive for it. And that's a noble striving in itself, as long as, purity doesn't involve the destruction of others or the domination over others, unless it's, there are places and there are arenas for civilized combat, which is why we call them arenas, and we play hockey or football or baseball or whatever. These are civilized. Radicalism and extremism can be synonymous, but again, a radicalist, someone willing to go to the extreme, willing to do what is necessary to attain that teleological end, to get that thing. So you see crusaders, all my sins will be absolved if I go kill Muslims. That's the Pope's using you. So you see this in more modern ones on the other side, where you have, well, let me make two examples here. You have a volunteer, US Canadian Army volunteer. These are volunteers. Now, there's a very big difference between a volunteer army and a conscript army. A citizen army, citizen soldiers versus extremist versus conscripts. The way you fashion your military, it definitely says a lot about your country. It's not just there to protect corporate interests. It's not just there, to as a offensive arm against your enemies.
So it's like the difference between coercion and willful volition, right? Like joining a force versus being dragged into a force versus being forced to be a force.
Right. If you have to convince your soldiers why they're fighting,
that's a problem.
Yeah. So I'm looking at you, China, all that propaganda. Most soldiers don't need propaganda. So, like, look at the Canadian volunteer rates for the First and Second World Wars. Something to be proud of. But so a volunteer or a soldier in the US or Canadian Army sitting in that trench. Now, you have another soldier, different theater, and he is volunteered to fight for ISIS. Now, there is a distinct difference between these two men. And a lot of people would make this as a false dichotomy and saying, well, a soldier's a soldier, all soldiers are bad, or all people that engage in any form of violence is bad. Although those tend to be the same people that think that words are violence, so shut up. So I'm going to ignore that. These people are different. One is there protecting, one is there and they make war to defend people, to defend things that they feel are worth defending.
So like to protect their values or something like that, right?
Right. One is there defending ends and is willing to do things for it. One hopes that they will survive and go home. The other thinks that, it doesn't matter if they survive or not, because, the religion of that sacrifice itself is part of the extremism. So you have, even in these extreme circumstances, you have these extremes. War itself is an extreme, and we should only do it when pushed to that extreme, and be ready for that extreme in case someone, decides to march into Vancouver and start marching east or something. And we should be ready in order to win that extreme situation, but we shouldn't be, looking for it. And anyone who looks for it is definitely bordering on extremism.
Because, that's sort of what we mean by warmongering or whatever, right? Is when people are looking for combat rather than defending themselves from it.
Yeah, if your country doesn't go to war for an extended period of time, that sounds like a successful country to me. Looking at you, Switzerland.